Today, we journey into the whole of West Virginia, a landscape of peaceful hills and quiet small towns. But hidden within these valleys lies one of America's most haunted mysteries. Christmas Eve, December 24, 1945. A night meant for celebration turned to terror as tragedy struck the Sodder family. 5 children vanished without a trace, leaving only questions, suspicions, and the echoes of an unsolved mystery. On Christmas Eve, the Sodders had celebrated quietly, some children already in bed. But shortly after midnight, a fire broke out, quickly spreading through the house. George and Jenny, along with 4 of their children, managed to escape the blaze. But 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were nowhere to be found. They had been sleeping upstairs, yet despite George's frantic efforts to re-enter the home, he could not reach them. As flames consumed the house, George's attempts to save his children were thwarted by strange obstacles. His ladder, usually nearby, was missing. His trucks, which he planned to use to reach the upper floors, wouldn't start. And a call to the fire department was delayed, allegedly because no one knew how to operate the switchboard that night. The next morning, the charred remains of the Sodder home were examined by Fayetteville Fire Chief F.J. Morris. The official conclusion was that the fire had been caused by faulty wiring. But as the family began sifting through the remains, something seemed wrong. No remains of the 5 missing children were found, not a single bone. And according to experts, even the hottest house fires would leave traces of bones or teeth. How could 5 children simply vanish? This was only the beginning of the strange circumstances. Despite the intensity of the fire, the site was quickly bulldozed, preventing further examination. The family's pleas for a more thorough investigation went unanswered. George and Jenny became convinced that something sinister had occurred. Several unsettling events came to light. Months before the fire, an insurance salesman had visited George, warning him that his house would go up in smoke and his children would die if he continued criticizing Mussolini. George had indeed been outspoken against the Italian dictator, which didn't sit well with certain members of the local Italian community. They also remembered that just before Christmas, a stranger had been seen lurking near the house, inspecting George's fuse box. And on the night of the fire, Jenny had received a strange phone call where an unfamiliar woman laughed menacingly before hanging up. Were these mere coincidences, or were they pieces of a larger, more disturbing puzzle? Witnesses came forward with alleged sightings of the children. A woman claimed to have seen the missing Sodder children in a car driving away from Fayetteville on the night of the fire. Another report came from a hotel, where a guest saw a group of children who matched their descriptions, accompanied by 2 strange men and women who seemed hostile when the children tried to speak. As the years wore on, the family's hope never wavered. George traveled across the country, following every lead and displaying a billboard with the children's photographs in a desperate attempt to find them. Over time, some individuals were highlighted as potential suspects. Rosser Long, the insurance salesman, had threatened George directly. F.J. Morris, the fire chief, arrived at the scene hours late and later attempted to deceive the Sodders by planting what he claimed was a human heart, later revealed to be beef liver. Another person of interest was Fiorenzo Giannutolo, a prominent local businessman with ties to George. Could one of these men, or someone associated with them, have had a reason to silence the Sodder family or take their children? Was this a case of mafia retribution, as some have speculated, or were darker forces at work? With the information gathered, we've turned to AI to analyze the available data and generate a potential explanation for the disappearance of the Sodder children. While AI cannot provide definitive answers, it can offer a unique perspective by identifying patterns and connections that may have been overlooked. By utilizing advanced investigative techniques and analyzing every detail of the case, AI has compiled all the evidence to uncover the truth. In this segment, we'll examine the clues AI reveals and take you step by step through how the case is finally solved. No remains found. It's highly implausible that even the most intense house fire could completely incinerate 5 bodies, leaving no trace of bones or teeth. This indicates the children were likely not in the house during the fire. Fire too quick. Multiple witnesses reported the fire spread unusually fast, suggesting the use of accelerants or sabotage. Cut phone lines. The phone lines being cut hints at premeditated foul play. The intruders seen around the house that evening could have been involved. Missing ladder and sabotaged trucks. The missing ladder and disabled trucks prevented George from rescuing his children. This feels like deliberate obstruction. Threats from the mafia or Mussolini supporters. George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini and potential ties to Italy's political climate point to retaliation as a motive. The involvement of Rosser Long or others with connections to Italy or local criminal networks cannot be ruled out. Kidnapped. The most plausible theory is that the children were kidnapped before or during the fire, possibly for ransom, adoption, or retribution. Sightings of children resembling the Sodders in the years following support this theory. The baby black market theory aligns with the era's darker underbelly of illegal adoptions. The fire chief's strange behavior, planting a fake heart delayed response, and the local officials' quick dismissal of evidence suggest incompetence or complicity in a cover-up. The insurance salesman's threats and his role on the coroner's jury are glaring conflicts of interest. AI suggests the Sodder children were likely abducted in a premeditated operation, with the fire serving as a calculated distraction. This conclusion is based on several anomalies: the missing ladder, which was deliberately moved, the trucks that were sabotaged to prevent rescue, and the absence of remains, which contradicts scientific understanding of fire cremation. Thank you for joining us on this journey as we explore the power of AI in unraveling unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Virtual Sleuths. We'll continue to uncover the truth, one case at a time. Join us as we push the boundaries of AI's potential and see where it takes us. Your support is essential in this journey of discovery and innovation. Let's solve the unsolvable together.